Now, when people are living on these levels, they're living on animal levels. Animals too cling to life. Animals too beget their future. Animals too are fighting to win. And when people are living on those levels, they have to be controlled by social law, dharma. Just think of our popular religions, what they're concerned with. Prayers for health, wealth, progeny, victory. That is asking the gods to serve your animal nature. This is popular religion. And it doesn't matter what the god's name. I'll never forget being in Mexico City at the Basilica, or whatever you'd call it, of the Virgin of Guadalupe. And the people there, the women on their knees coming for blocks with their little baby that the Virgin has given them in health to thank. Swarms of people. The last time I had seen anything quite like that was at Puri, the temple of the Jagannath in Puri. The same kind of popular religiosity. And I thought, what is it the popular world wants? Health, wealth, progeny. And it doesn't matter what the god's name is. So that's the one religion, the one popular religion all over the world, no matter what the name of the god is. And the job of the priests, those in charge of the historical temple, is to get the name of their god linked up with this thing, and the money pours in like crazy. Now, think of the first temptations of the Buddha. The first was the temptation of lust, Chakra 2. The second is the temptation of fear, Chakra 3. The third was the temptation of duty, Dharma. He had gone past this. And we're not in the field of properly religious life, in the field of the spiritual birth, until we have come up to Chakra 4. And this is at the level of the heart, the sacred heart of Jesus. Jesus, as Leopold Bloom says in Ulysses, with his heart on his sleeve.
Peace to the family. This is episode 1 of Chakra Nova. Even though this is the first episode, y'all already know who I'm rocking with. My regular degulars, my day ones, my road dogs. That's Sacred Serpent and my man Prime Harmonic. And of course, we ain't gonna do nothing like we haven't done before, except try to, bring more enlightenment in reference to chakras. So I'm going to try to do this weekly. And when I say I want this to be a we thing. So everybody that takes part in the Chakra Nova platform, y'all do have an opportunity to use these Thursdays to come here and speak. It's going to be Thursdays that I'm not available. There's going to be Thursdays that Prime's not available. There's going to be Thursdays that Rod's not available. But I feel like we all can use Thursdays as Chakra Nova days and talk about your journey in relationship to your body, in relationship to your spiritual soul. But without further ado, I want to give space for my co-host and then want to talk about our topics for today. But first off is my boy Prime Harmonic. How you feeling today, brother?
Feeling good, man. Peace. Yeah, that's all I can say to that. Feeling good.
Indeed. How you doing today, Serpent?
Oh, I'm good, family. Thank you. Blessed to be here. Happy to be here.
Word. And so I'm going to go right to you, Prime, because like always, you set the tone for the conversations, being the OG, being our wise elder, no cap on that. But you had came, me and, as always, I'm going to set the scene. Me and Serpent on the chat, up to shenanigans, basically, just on bullshit, basically,
all the time.
And then you slide in the chat, like giving us the wisdom of making space. And because I was referencing the conversation is going to be on Kundalini, so we're going to ask Serpent to help us with a definition of Kundalini. But before we get into that, what made you bring up this conversation of making space? Now, trust me, this whole conversation, we're going to be elaborating on this concept, but to set the table, to like give us your grace, what inspired you, what led you, and what ultimately fired you up to bring up this concept of making or creating space in relation to chakras or in relation to life in general?
I'm gonna totally say it's the preparation work that we all put in for Chakra Nova. I have studied with various teachers. I've looked at various teachers that I didn't study with, but I read their text, and all of them talked about how to raise your Kundalini energy and what energy centers you could expect them to go through. What are some of the side effects that you see in your life when you start raising your Kundalini energy? And I've seen a lot of them, but it wasn't until we did the Chakra Nova series where we were spending 1 month on each chakra that it gave me room to like breathe. And, I was learning things that I hadn't felt or known before because I wasn't giving myself time. And that's when I realized that if you're going to, Kundalini's like turning on a powerful water hose. And if you got a balloon and that balloon ain't, strong enough or big enough to take a bunch of water, then it ain't going to fill up, right? So you got to have, if you want to store water, if you want to store energy, you want to transmit that energy, you got to have space for it. I likened it to cleaning a room, I think is what we were talking about. Mm-hmm. If you want to occupy a space and you want to feel good in that space, you got to have room. It's the same thing for your Kundalini energy. And so I think where a lot of people drop the ball is in not explaining that it is a living energy. It is a living conscious energy. Yes, it is a part of your higher self, but it is a living energy. It's not like the electricity that you turn on your light in your room and it comes on. This Mickey Ficky is real and it's alive. So when you say, okay, Kundalini, I want you to occupy my root chakra, if you don't give it room, then it's going to rip shit up. Just like if you have a big dog or a wild cat in your house, but you don't give it space, it's going to start scratching up your couch and your bed, your curtains, eating your homework, all that stuff, right? This is an animal. This is a dragon. Mm-hmm. It's this serpent. And you got to give it room to circulate and move around.
So with that being said, can you give us some applicable or logical spaces now? Like, say, for instance, I'm just now getting into the spiritual journey, and what you just said gave me anxiety. This nigga talk about goddamn big dogs and shit. So what can I do right now to create the space? Because I don't want Brutus to come up and tear up my lower back, my lower intestines. So I'm trying to raise Kundalini, and Prime said it's a monster on me now. How do I create the space? No, for real though. How could a person begin to create space? I feel like it's such a powerful concept that if you couldn't give a person some applicable or logical steps in relation to it, it might go one ear and not the other.
All right. So the thing I like the most, and I'm gonna put it on the physical level, right? Because I think that's the most benefit that I got out of Chakra Nova. Let's talk about the root chakra first. Your root chakra is associated with your survival, right? Your adrenal glands, what gets you hyped up, right? Mm-hmm. The way to make space with your body's reaction to your adrenal glands hyping you up is to make space to be at peace. right? To make space to understand. So first and foremost, you got to know. So I love that in Chakra Nova, we go over the endocrine glands that are associated with, all of the chakras. And for some people, they'll say the kidneys are associated with the root or the sacral, but either way, it's the lower, right? To make space means you give yourself room to sit and feel what your body goes through. If you get excited, if you get scared or something, it's one thing to run off and go, oh crap, fight or flight, and just let yourself be triggered into whatever you're doing. But if you can sit and understand that your body's going to be going through some changes chemically, and it's going to make you feel a certain way. But if you have the patience to sit there and let it subside, you'll see that you come back to your original self, your original state of being. And then you can think more clearly, right? So I would say the first part of making space is to understand that every endocrine gland pumps hormones into your body. So starting with what's happening in the lower body, get used to your adrenaline reaction. Get used to being nervous and then going somewhere to sit down and wait until you're not nervous, and then breathe and chill out, right? That's giving yourself space. And what that does is it allows you flexibility now. Now you can take on more energy because you can prove to yourself that what made you nervous doesn't necessarily have to hold that power over you. You don't have to run every time you hear that dog bark. You don't have to scramble every time you see Momo coming up the street, whoever, whatever, right? When you can learn to sit and calm yourself through everyday little tiny microaggressions or micro fears, then you're starting to reclaim some of that space or make some more of that space.
Thank you.
And that's root chakra. That's survival, right?
And let's stay there because we're going to be in Kundalini. I'm going to come back to you. I'm going to ask you about root locking as bringing up that Kundalini energy and the steps before root lock. So if you want to kind of prep for that question. But Serpent.
Yes, brother.
You did some groundbreaking research earlier. You came up with the definition for Kundalini. I would like you to reference your award-winning research, Ted Koppel, Gerardo-esque research.
Gerardo.
Wow.
Because we're gonna go through the Webster's dictionary, and then we're gonna go through the Ebonics version, so we can understand.
All right, so I got two of them.
You got two of them. Let's get it.
I got two of them. All right, so for the basic, right? It's the Kundalini power is in reference to a powerful energy, the most potent energy, basically, that lies dormant at the base of your spine. It is also represented as a coiled serpent that lies asleep at the base of the spine, or aka your root chakra. The awakening is what is to believe to be the culmination of rising one's Kundalini in connection with root chakra all the way up to the crown chakra.
Is that both of them?
No, that's the first one.
Right.
The second one is a little bit more okay, so it's a little bit more. So Kundalini is described as a sleeping, dormant potential force in the human organism. It is one of the components of an esoteric description of the subtle body, which consists of nadis, aka energy channels, aka chakras, psychic centers, prana, subtle energy, and bindu, drops of essence.
Okay. So I'm gonna go through. Oh, I got a little like a gangster ass chart, and we're gonna go through this and talk about what Kundalini is not. So the first thing you said was powerful energy. Okay,
Mm.
so
Mhm.
powerful energy would be that such as emotions, electricity, gas, oil,
Everything that
Yeah.
exists within you, right?
Yeah.
things that allow things to happen on the underground,
Yeah.
right? So
Okay.
it's not tangible, right?
Hmm.
But it has a lot of force, and it deals with channels of non-tangible energy that
Hmm.
deals with the subtle body,
Yeah.
meaning that you have to relax and deal past your stress, because the subtleties of life, when you stress, you can't see the
You can't
subtlety.
feel them. Yeah.
Right. So that Bendu and chakras are related to a subtlety. So the space and time and energy it takes to find something that you can't see but you can feel,
Yeah.
is relative to an awakening or a rising. Rising because it's dormant and at the base of your spine. Okay. But all of this is wonderful. And I'm going to bring it back to you, Prime. And then we're going to still deal with this ebonics, but I gotta kind of keep people on a track of understanding. So root lock
Yeah. Yeah.
to make it make sense. And all
So,
of what we said, the root lock, how does that then apply?
all right. So, um, like Sacred Serpent said, Kundalini is like your life force energy, and it goes through various channels in your body, right? Um, I gotta relate it to back to what I know.
Right.
And I apologize if people have never been in a highly charged situation, but think of it, okay? If you've ever walked in the middle of a gunfight or a fight, or and you were just like, okay, I'm trying not to get stabbed, shot, or hurt, but you know how the energy kind of rises up, right? You feel it from the outside, okay? That is an example of external energy flowing through your nadis or your energy channels to let your chakras know, hey, something's going on here. You either need to duck, get out, whatever, right? Now, um, if it's your imagination don't know the difference between what's on the outside, you know, that you're looking at, or what's in your mind that you're looking at. So you can be in your imagination and have a situation that is highly charged, and you'll feel your body start to tingle. You feel your energy start to rise and dissipate throughout your body. So both of those examples I gave are an example of your energy being unorganized and flighty in your body.
Mm-hmm.
When you do locks, whether
Mm-hmm.
it's the root lock, um, or the lock for the solar plexus, you got like locks for your chin and other various things, hand mudras. When you do the root lock, what that does is it kind of creates in electrical engineering, we call it a diode, where current can only flow one way.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have energy in your root chakra,
Mm-hmm.
typically, if you were walking on the ground or near trees, that energy would want to go down your legs and go into the ground. That's why a lot of people feel nervous in their legs when stuff is about to happen. When you're doing the root lock, which is pulling in the perineum or perineum and the anus muscles, basically squeezing them like you preventing yourself from peeing or pooing, while you're breathing gently or holding that lock gently, then you're preventing the energy of your internal self from going down out through your legs into the earth. So it's sitting there at the base of the spine. Now, when it's sitting there at the base of the spine, if it's building up pressure and you've locked it from going down into the earth, then there's only one other way it can go, which is up through the other chakras. And that's why people use that lock as a preliminary to start to push the energy up. But again, you know, if you don't make room for it, it's going to be a little bit rough. Bull in a china shop, right?
Not to scare nobody, but to get you fully prepared. And thank you for that elaboration to keep it kind of synchronized. But back to your original point of creating space, Serpent. Now, you had an interesting point. You had a devil's advocate situation in relation to personal needs, spiritual selfishness, and rising Kundalini for personal needs. Now, listen, do you think that it's a good idea? My rent is about 4 months past due. That's why I got our cash apps below. No, I'm just joking. Yeah, I'm just trying to provide the jokes because nobody else is providing them. So
we're gonna have to roll out the U-Haul. I done helped too many people move.
No. So no, but seriously,
I was kind of going to say like, you could think of your Kundalini like that little thing that jumped out that white nigga chest at Aliens. You remember that shit? Remember the first time you saw Aliens? That's your shit if you don't know what you're doing and you just try and raise that shit for some selfish needs. You like this. That shit just pop out your chest like, nah, nigga, I ain't going that way. That was gonna be my joke, but it wasn't in sync. But then you called me out because it wasn't no jokes. Because now I feel stupid because I ain't making the joke. I wanted to make the joke about alien. That could be your Kundalini done wrong, nigga. That could be.
Don't force it, because it was a time for that. It was a time for that.
Oh man.
It was a time for that. See, you just let me form the question first. We was gonna let it go. Okay,
I'm sorry. Look, you know what? I'm still learning, y'all. I'm still learning.
I mean, and that's why we need your perspective, because it's more relatable than people who think they know everything. But I digress.
Right.
Yeah. You're right.
I digress.
You're right.
So,
nope. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
If I'm low on my rent, I need me a girl for a date tonight. Should I get into Kundalini? I'm going to just put it simple. Should I get into Kundalini to work on my personal needs? Like, should I specifically deal with Kundalini if I'm trying to manifest something in particular? And what would your analogies and things of that be? And this is where you insert in the alien.
Yeah, see, alien come out chest right now. Like, oh,
yeah. See,
nah. My bad.
Sometimes you gotta let things breathe, bro. No.
yeah. Yeah, I had to ask that question because I remember the first time that I ventured into doing any of this conscious shit, let alone spiritual shit. You know what I'm saying? And when I initially got into it, like that initial rush of piety, like this righteousness that you get because you think you know more than other people. So you've already created another shadow aspect of yourself because you think that you're above everybody else just off some little shit that you just learned. You know what I'm saying? Like that is the overwhelming theme throughout a lot of people's lives. I know it has been throughout my life until I got aware of it. So when he brings that up, he's right and exact, because when I first started out on this journey, I didn't start out on this journey to do chakra shit or anything else. I just wanted to know, just so I knew, you know what I'm saying? But through the process, I found out that the selfish and individual aspect of trying to do this work completely takes you out of doing this work wholeheartedly. Like if your aspect of doing any of this work has to do with you trying to be successful in a materialistic world just so you can get the kudos and the acknowledgement or recognition that anyone is just going to hover at you because you got a couple of dollars, like that is not going to amount to anything. You just will make a mountain into a molehill, and then you can just proceed however you want to proceed. So basically, I had to play the devil's advocate role because I was already on the other side, where I was self-centered in my spiritual journey, and only because I didn't
You're
even
not
know that I
alone
was
in that.
on
You're
a.
not alone
Right.
in that.
I
We all
wasn't.
go- we
I
all
didn't.
go
I
through that.
wasn't. But I wasn't even aware that I was on a spiritual journey to begin with. That's the point that I was trying to make. You know what I'm saying? So once I got to that point, and then I understood. Guess what? I met Kyrie. And I could tell you the rest is history, just to say sound like some fly shit and just to go in sync with the show. But I'm gonna tell you the rest is history, nigga, because I've been with Kyrie ever since. Like, that's just the truth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
You can't do this work. I'm sorry, you can't do this work. I won't say you can't. You know what? You can do whatever the fuck you want.
Right.
But it wouldn't behoove you to be able to discern the possibility that you are greater than anything that you could possibly imagine. And if you awaken that dragon, if you awaken that serpent, if you awaken that energy that you've ignored your entire fucking existence and then don't know what to do with it, well, I think that's the description that you're getting from all of these volatile and grotesque images in your mind of some pit bull running around in your body while popping out your chest.
okay. So
I mean,
gotta,
it could
go
end
ahead.
well though. It could end well. Like some people.
Oh,
raise their
it could
energy.
it could end well if you're, like you said, you create the space. You know what
Yeah.
that space really is? What he just spoke about? Go and sit your ass down for about 5 or 10 minutes and breathe. You know what I'm saying? Don't move nowhere. Don't think about what's going on around you. Don't give a fuck what's happening in the room that you sitting in. Can you get to that point of centeredness without even remembering you're in the room? I could get there in a second. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could close my eyes and the first time I take a deep breath, I let go and I don't even remember I'm in this room. I don't feel my body no more. Nothing is there. So can you get to that point of centeredness and balance within yourself and be able to calm down? And the flip side would be you could be able to create a situation where that space exists, where a nigga yell in your face and it doesn't even faze you. You understand? Where somebody really pisses you off and does one of your unmentionable boundaries and crosses that thing and spits on it and shits on it, and you just look at them and keep it moving. That's the difference.
But once again,
right? Because some of us have those triggers that we just ain't gonna give up on. You know what I'm saying? But the difference is, once that thing is realized and that thing is connected, that those things are peon things. They don't even bother you no more. That space doesn't even exist where another person can knock you off your stride. It doesn't even exist. So I'm describing both sides of my journey within both sides, and I can tell you that I started on the self-centered side. Now I'm on the selfish side, which means I can love myself and still love my niggas and not have to think anything twice about it. And on the flip side of that is, once you realize your divinity, like everybody else is divine too. What the fuck? Like, what are we talking about here?
I think we're talking about divinity and naming your own aspect of divinity, which is much more sublime than a personal need. But when you reference personal needs, you're referencing real stressors. So as much as it's crazy that a grown-ass man would be stressing over some new Jordans, guess what's happening? Grown-ass niggas is out here stressing about Jordans, stressing about taxes, stressing about their business, stressing about their relationships, stressing about this, stressing about that.
What happened? Did we miss something?
I think
he went dark. I'm sorry, people. I guess he went MIA for a second. He might be on a freeze. Yeah, but just the tag team. Damn, where was he at? Because he was on a roll.
So he was talking about how people, even though we want to be in our divine, sometimes we have day-to-day stresses, whether they're superficial or not.
Absolutely. And I think it's so key that he brought that up, because those things those things matter too. You know what I mean? Like I have this conversation with another young lady that I'm very fond of, and I say to her, your human side is never going to go away. That is a part of you.
Yeah.
Right. So what we're talking about is getting to a point where you can sort of hover above that part You know that part exists. You can do that part's work in like 2 hours and be all the rest of the day is your day. You know what I'm saying? Because it's easy to do that part. But if you're stuck in the minutia, you're stuck in the feeling, you're stuck in the carried
the personhood,
thoughts and lies that you tell yourself, then that's just a never ending story. Nobody pulls you out of that until you want to get there. You know what I'm saying? But when you are recognizing and realizing this part, when you get to the divinity part, like those things become less of an issue. So it's almost like we're trying to build up that muscle through repetition, as opposed to just thinking about it and hoping it'll happen one day and you realize it. No, we're going to build it up through repetition. So now you're going to do this like habit, and before you know it, it's going to happen without you even thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? We want it to be,
and to be clear, that habit is developing a relationship with your non-physical senses in relation to your physical body.
Yes.
Grounding. Again, that's back to the root chakra. That's grounding, right? When you make your body listen to your non-physical self, when you understand how your non-physical self operates within your body, and you make the time to sit and listen to it, that's what we call grounding. That's the emotional, mental, and spiritual aspect of grounding. Yeah, word.
And I think
now serpent froze. Next is my turn.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. No, I'm here.
No, but for real,
am I still here?
I just would like to say that, like, when you deal with the repetition of it, when you build the conversation in relation to chakras, I think the necessity of just having a day where we deal with chakras, whether in the band app or on YouTube or wherever we do this stuff at, is because the reality is that we need this shit every single day. Every single day, you have to deal with your non-physical God self. Every single day, the church is open. But go ahead.
Quick quiz. How many times has seven been a profound number in our study? What can you reference from 7? Both of y'all. I need both of y'all to answer that.
Well, I mean, my son's name is 7.
Every time I hear 7, I just keep thinking 7 chakras, man.
My son's name is 7.
Okay, I know that. All right. What else is 7 reference to?
The days of the week.
And that's what I was thinking. Like I think
7 churches in Revelation.
The 7 tabernacles. The 7 tabernacles. Right? So when you think about the 7 and you think about this 7 days in a week, that gives you 1 day to work on a different part of your body. Right?
I mean,
that
in
gives
reference
you
to
1 day a week. That gives you 1 day a week to reference one part of your body that needs some help. Right? Think about all the years of your life you went through 7 days and so many weeks, and you never did nothing in reference to your body. Right?
Until it hurt.
We're talking
until it was disease.
Until it hurt. Until it was the last minute. So we're talking about being able to heal yourself so that you can circumvent the idea of a doctor, so you can circumvent the idea of a therapist, so you can circumvent the idea of somebody that's a psychologist who's only paid to tell you what you already know anyway. He's only paid to tell you what you are afraid to admit to yourself anyway. So the idea of needing to get somebody else to tell you what you already know is what we are talking about.
So let's simplify it. Let's simplify it to remove anxiety, because generally when I'm hearing spiritual people talk, they talk and it's like, okay, what the fuck are you talking about? So I want to break it down to very simple terms for anybody that understand. We talking about perennial.
I'm sorry, I'm so abstract.
No, not you. I'm just talking about people outside of this channel. But anyways, I digress. So when we reference the root lock, we're referencing perineum exercises that bring about a physical response to your body in what is called your Kundalini gland. Okay, that gland produces a hormone that, when mixed with your seminal fluids for guys, feminine, you know,
It's
the sexual
chi. It's the
fluids.
same, right? Yeah, the
It's
same
a
fluid.
mixture. It's a mixture of fluids, basically, that you're producing this hormone in your body that is your wisdom, right? It is your knowledge. It is that dormant snake. But ultimately, we create the conversation so large and so vast that once you finally understand that, oh, this is my God force energy, you've elaborated on the concept ad nauseum. That's the space. That's the space that I feel we're talking about. But once again, it's like, what is Kundalini in your opinion, Prime? I don't think I asked you that. So, like, what does it mean to you? What does it sound like?
Fire. It's,
exactly.
To me, it's the energy that when you're excited about something, or when something gets your goat and you just respond, and all of a sudden your body fills with this energy and you feel like you can respond. I'm not necessarily talking about the adrenaline. I'm talking about the vibe before the adrenaline rush. When something happens and you're like, what? You know, that initial puff up. To me, that's Kundalini, but that's just an intense version of it. It's always in your body, or else you be dead. It's your life force, but it's concentrated life force. So to me, Kundalini is just focused life force. Yeah, that's what I say. Focused life force.
I would also like to add to that, like, an awareness of your life force. So an example that I would have is like, what consciously could we really dictate within our bodies to say, can we stop our heartbeats? Can we stop our left ventricle artery from pumping? Can we, you know, get 15 nerves to stop firing synapses and send that electricity to our left butt cheek? Like, what can we actually do within our body except be aware of the process? And I find that that's another concept of creating space, being aware of your divinity. Where you have personal needs, there's a form of manipulation where I want to create this. And so I heard that Hood Mystic, Prime Harmonic, and Dark Serpent is selling chakra work. Maybe I can use that to help me manifest a powerful husband or a powerful wife, or maybe that'll get my kids to act right if I do the chakra work. Serpent, what would you say to somebody like that?
Damn. Like, you just know how to throw me in the fire. Like, it's just not gonna cut it, because you're gonna get to that thing and then you might realize that you ain't worth that thing. Right? So my big homie said some fly shit today, and then I had to answer with familiarity breeds contempt. Because so what happens in these relationships a lot of times, based on no chakra understanding, no energy understanding, no energy transfer, reciprocation, or even a symbiotic flow of understanding of two individuals, what happens is these relationships happen on a one person frequency, and the guy is just following in line with the woman, and so the woman gets to control the whole concept of the thing. But that's only because the guy, you know, he isn't balanced in his chakras, but the girl ain't balanced in her chakras neither, so it really don't even matter. But what happens is they don't have an understanding of what real communication is. What they have is a relationship based on sex and money. So out of sex and money, where else are you going to get your depth from the individual that you're trying to get it from? You're not going to get it from anywhere, because it doesn't exist, because everything is coagulated around earning sex, using sex to get money, putting sex with money. It's an amalgamation. It's put together. You know what I'm saying? It's like just like a hodgepodge of shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like a hodgepodge of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just throw in all the leftovers, you know what I'm saying? And make some real fly shit, some mystery meat. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it doesn't exist within a flow. So you might get to a point where you unlock your chakras, right? Not to be long-winded, but we all are. And you get to a point where you unlock your chakras and you raise your Kundalini, and you did it for the concept of gaining a male or female partner that was an equal and was everything that you wanted. Well, you will get there, and then you will get that partner, but that partner won't match you. Or even with your Kundalini realized and recognized, you won't match your partner. And that in and of itself is like, you know, you get what you ask for type deal, but you still got to do this work. So like most of those people, once they get to that point, they'll get the thing that they want and then realize that's not the thing that they want, and then they'll stop doing the work and it doesn't even matter anyway. So
pretty
going at
profound, my
this from
guy.
a materialistic concept, when you go at this from a materialistic aspect, when you go at this from a glamour aspect, when you go at this from a, I need people to acknowledge that I've done so much, so because I got so much aspect, like you're missing the entire point, because all of those benefits are supposed to be what benefits you, not what benefits other people by seeing you. So
wait a second.
Yeah. That's heavy.
Yeah. I'm gonna go. I got an answer to that question, Brian, but I will let you go. The only thing that I say is that it's power in awareness versus power in manipulating. So trying to tune or trying to adjust or trying to align is a result, a function or programming. But what would you say to that question?
Man, I forgot the question.
It's on the screen. Do you train the Nadis to attain the
shot? I thought you meant the question you asked.
Oh, no. That's more or less of a. I like asking Rodham personal questions because he breaks it down so eloquently. Word. Like I don't got nothing else to say.
I'm gonna have to go back after this is over and re-listen to that part.
Yeah, powerful stuff.
So before I answer Yuel's question, let me just say one thing about the question Tiana asked. Does heartburn affect your chakras? Heartburn will affect everything about your being, right? One of the best ways to deal with heartburn is to control your acid level in your body. And a lot of people think
a lot of breaking up going on, big homie.
Oh, me? Testing 1 2. Is this better?
Oh, you sound good to me.
Okay.
You sound good.
You're good now.
All right. A lot of people think that by drinking high pH water or eating certain foods, that's the best way to get your acidity down. The best way to get your acidity level down is to exhale, because basically your body has an excess of carbon dioxide. So first and foremost, exhale more, get rid of the carbon dioxide, and then your body will be less acidic. The less acidic your body is, the less you'll get that kind of reflux that is kind of the root cause of heartburn. But does it affect your chakras? Yes. If you focusing on it, then you'll notice it more, because your energy goes where your attention is. So if you are focusing on relaxing and working on your root chakra, then that Kundalini energy is going to help heal the heartburn, because eventually you'll get to a point where you're calming yourself down. And when you calm yourself down, you'll breathe deeper. And when you breathe deeper, you exhale more. When you exhale more, you let out more carbon dioxide, which makes your body less acidic. So Yuel's question. Oh, my bad.
I just wanted to say, just to add on to that, not to go in any different direction, but the definition of a Nadi is a chakra. So when you're talking, that question really the connotation, those two words go together. Like a Nadi is a chakra. So like the Nadi is like the outside area of that center, but it's still pointing to that center. So a Nadi is actually a chakra.
I think Yuel might be looking at it like some people describe also, like, you could look at every cell in your body, right, as a chakra, like what we've been talking about. But I think in in this aspect, the question is relating to, like, some people talk about the nadis as the energy channels running through that connect all your major intersections of the nadis or the chakras, right? So, you know, you don't, how do I say this? There's no,
Just talk, big homie. Just talk, please.
Your inner energy control comes from you observing and learning how your energy works, right? Like, this process is not you training your Kundalini. This process is your Kundalini training your person. So as you work with your chakras more and more, what happens is they start to bring out that divine energy, and you feel it flow through the nadis or through your energy channels, and they usually get you to do things a little differently than you did them before. So really it's more like you train yourself to perceive the energy of your chakras, and as you train yourself to be still and perceive that energy will then flow through your nadis better than when you weren't paying attention to them, and it will cause you to either heal, act differently. You know what I'm saying? It changes your life as opposed to you training them. I hope that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. It makes sense to me, but I think sometimes, like, it's very mysterious and very mystical in relation to, like, it's very mystical and mysterious on how to build a house if you never learned how to build a house, and you have different rhetorics and different thought bubbles on, well, what about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? And you generally don't get anywhere because that's what esoterics has resulted to be. I think Chakra Nova, well, I know Chakra Nova is not a place where we can theorize and we can deal with hypotheticals, but we always have a root concept that you are the book and you study yourself. I don't care about the world outside of yourself. I care about your central nervous system. I care about your spine. I care about your major endocrine glands and understanding these processes. So we know that we can create a child, right? That's not a theory. That's not a hypothesis, how that child turns out. The sex or gender is up for debate, but we know if we have sex with a woman, it's a possibility if she's ovulating that she can have a child. Now, what is a child? A child is a being that can exist autonomously on its own. You know that for a fact when you have sex. So Kundalini is that same process, but reverse. So when you reference the Nadis, I don't want y'all to come on this chat and be all mysterious about what we're talking about versus what we're not talking about, because this is not mumbo jumbo spiritual talk. It's a lot of channels that deal with that. There's a lot of channels that discuss that. But in reference to Kundalini, in reference to chakras, it's awakening your spiritual ability that you do anyways. Because a lot of y'all, all of us on this platform have children, right? So we can create life, right? So when we reverse that life creating process in due diligence and time, energy, and effort, and we raise that energy up, right, over time, and you take that consciousness and you don't just waste it, right? Why do you think that there are billions and billions upon billions of streams of pornography for free? Because why do you think that? Why do you think anything that you do, TV, television, internet, is always a pornography aspect? Because as long as they can get humans to lower their energy, they know for a fact that y'all can create life forms that exist autonomously. Y'all got children to bear witness on this. Y'all children can play piano. Y'all children can do all types of amazing things. Now, when we talk about Kundalini, we're talking about the same stuff, but reverse. And dealing with this energy, dealing with your God. Your God is your children, but you don't have to. This process of creation is No matter what, a man is always sperm cells.
Yeah.
You know? So that creation is happening. What we decide to do with those sperm cells, waste them through pornography or sex, poor sexual practices, or through Tantra, Kundalini yoga. Root lock. Why would you do root locks? To be like, it's real jokey joke. We like to joke. And I trust me, I will joke with the best of them. But in the realms of how this information can help you, you got to understand chakras is not about a concept. It's about your body. It's about you and you being aware of your body. Who has stake in your
100.
fucking heart beating right now? I have no stake in your heart beating. If your heartbeat start, like, I have no stake in it. The only stake in your heartbeat, in your lungs expanding, and in your breath is your soul. But if you bring your awareness to it, then you are creating a space for all types of manifestations. But, you know, I'm going on tangents, being long-winded, but any thoughts to what I'm saying? Do I sound crazy?
It's right and exact. No, it's right and exact.
My thought on what you said.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
No, I wasn't gonna say nothing. Go ahead.
My thought on what you were saying just now is what gets quoted a lot. I like to watch Abraham Hicks, and one of the things they say is that you, like, in your person, what you're focusing on is what your soul is focusing on too. And the only difference is that your soul doesn't have the same perspective about what you're focusing on as you do. And the more you learn to have the perspective of what your soul sees, the more you'll be feeling emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually better. So to me, it's like that. To me, is like when you energize your chakras, then they will call to you experiences and energies to help your advancement in this world. And it's up to you in your personhood to look at it as a disadvantage or an advantage. So what I've been telling myself recently is, what can I take from this moment that I can carry into eternity with me? Right? If I'm going through something and I'm feeling like things ain't going my way, then the way I get out of that is to say, nah, there's something in this situation, in every situation, in every moment that I'm in, that can help me in some form of fashion, right? So I make myself look for that, because that's what my soul is doing. My soul don't care about whether somebody hurt my feelings or whether somebody dissed me or whether I feel bad about something I did. My soul, my spirit is like, let's move forward. Let's keep going. What else can we learn? How else can we do this? What else might be here for me? Or who can I meet because of this? You know what I'm saying? Ever advancing. And so I'm trying to get in line with that perspective. And in order to do that, I have to be able to lay down that personhood. You know what I'm saying? That I don't know a good word for it.
I think it's more or less the personal needs or the animal body or the ego where it's afraid to die, or wants all of the attention and doesn't really want to do the work, which when you say do the work, I feel like creating the space or holding the space is doing the work. Whereas like you say doing the work is like, well, I got an LLC prime. What else you want me to do, fam? I did my paperwork. But the actual space creating. One of the analogies that we had earlier for creating a space versus gratifying personal needs was wanting a Lamborghini. And two people saying, all right, I'm going to read the magazine book. I'm going to do a vision board for my Lamborghini. And the other person said, I'm going to work on my credit so I can be able to afford a Lamborghini. 2 years forward, one person nowhere closer to getting a Lamborghini, but the other person have the credit to get the Lamborghini now 2 years later. But instead of getting a Lamborghini, he takes his credit and gets a duplex, and then take that rent money and then buy the Lamborghini cash, right? But generally, what he thought was he wanted a Lamborghini, but he couldn't get the Lamborghini. The only thing he could do was work on his credit. Turns out he could do way more with his credit than buy a Lamborghini. Mm-hmm. But the Lamborghini wasn't bad. But in creating a space for the Lamborghini, he did so much more. Hypothetical, theoretical, but I think it's indicative on how we can create an environment for our personal needs. And both y'all opinion, how would y'all create an environment for raising Kundalini? Like, what are some real life things that y'all would do to prepare for this journey?
Honestly, I would say I would probably start with the first hour of every day goes to yourself. You know, and within that first hour, you have a plethora of things that you can pay attention to, in which regards to paying attention to these chakras, which are just, you know, energy centers within yourself. So within that hour, can you sit and meditate for at least 20-25 minutes? Can you then sit and journal about your experience, you know, through your meditation, you know, and then can you sit and try and format your day out in a different way, as opposed to being the reactionary person that the majority of people are. Mm-hmm. I'll break it down in a little bit more of an abstract way, but I just wanted to get this off because it corresponded. So I was talking to the big homie Hood Mystic earlier in the week about this concept of thought corpses. Right, thought corpses. Yeah, you heard me right. So when they call people, when they refer to people, they refer to people as the walking dead. You know, these are people that they generally refer to when they're speaking of people that just do what they're supposed to do every single day. They're thought corpses. They just walk around with a bunch of thoughts in their head that they've already deemed dead, and they just keep recycling them the whole day. So this is the difference between a person that's a thought corpse and a person that's not a thought corpse. You say, when you wake up in the morning, do you have the thought to wake up, or then do you wake up out of habit? Right? How many times do you open your eyes and you have the thought, I'm going to get up, and you get up?
Yeah.
Or how many times do you open your eyes and you get up out of habit?
Running.
So if you're getting up, so if you're getting up out of habit based off of repetition, based off of how many times you just done it, well, that's the reverse of what the repetition that we was talking about when we were talking about attention to your chakras. That's paying attention to the physical. So you're just getting up. No recollection of why you're even getting up. You ain't even have the thought to create that space to say you wanted to get up. You just got up.
Yeah.
So that person is a thought corpse.
It's a literal concept. Rolled out of bed. Wow. I just rolled out of bed.
Yeah.
Zombie.
Just rolled out of bed. Zombie. So I guess if I'm going to tie it into the simple part, I'll just say, like, we're talking about doing the inner and then being able to react outwardly, right? So doing the work inwardly and then being able to react outwardly, or being able to live and be outwardly. All right, because if you're just reacting, then you're one of those thought corpses, right? You got these issues, right? You got these triggers, right? You're a thought corpse. You know what I'm saying? So we're trying to get you to understand, get yourself out of the concept of acting just because you're acting out of repetition. And are you actually the one making that move, acting because you actually want to act? Like, that's the difference.
Yeah.
I hope that makes sense.
I think that's answering Breeze's question, man. It makes sense to me. So in answer to your question, Hood, one of the things I do, like, and I'll tell you one thing that I realized today, while I was at work. It was something I was saying to myself, And I said, nah, don't talk to yourself like that. Sing it. So I changed the words, like, because, I'm being silent on the outside, but in my head, I'm thinking, I got to do this, I got to do that, right? And I said, all right, let me take that back. And then I started singing it to myself and treating speaking to myself with respect and with some fun, right? And it changed my whole mood about everything I had to do from that point on today. So I'm gonna work on that some more, but that's one thing that I just came up with today. On the normal, I have had to stop myself from reacting. I think it's good what Serpent said. If you can start doing that in the morning and even in your day that way, then you set the pace, right? But sometimes you get caught out there and things might demand your attention, or you get caught off guard, right? So it's those times in my day where I say, okay, I make myself not overreact. I make myself stand still and try to breathe slowly while I listen carefully to what's going on and look carefully at what's going on, so that when I open my mouth to speak or when I get ready to move my limbs, I'm not losing control to the event or whatever has come up. Because it's just like what Ra was saying. If you wake up in the morning and you don't have no regard, you just, let me get up and go do what I got to do, brush my teeth, get to work, blah, 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 right? It's the same thing, thought zombie. So if you in an event in your day and you get frazzled and you start reacting how your society or your TV or your music that got you gassed up teaches you to react, then again, you've made another thought zombie. So I like to make a pause before I act, whether it's 5 seconds, 10 seconds, or even before I speak. Like, people will respect the fact that you got something to say if they think you're thinking about it. And if somebody want to answer quick, then fine. Let them wait 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 20, right? But make physically making space and time before you take your innards and show them, to the world.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so,
I okay, go ahead.
No, go
Sorry.
ahead. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you go.
No, I was just going to say that I prefer the idea of taking care of number one first, my number one player, right? So the higher self thing that you're doing for yourself when you contemplate your higher self in this process, because that's the point that you would want to be holding firm in your manifestation. Like, it should be from that perspective, right? So like, these other things are like, they're like really small things. They become very small things, right? So I've tried to create cheat codes, like somebody said in the chat room, around knocking me off of my distractions, right? So like, I have to be on social media for the business and for advertising, right? But I've taken it off my main device. I put it on like my laptop, and I put it on like another device in the house, but it's not my main device, so I don't have to worry about wanting to fucking scroll all fucking day, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I've distracted myself from wanting to grab the regular shit just to get whatever it is that I want to get for that day, just because I want to satisfy some simple animal need, because at the end of that thing, it never turns out to be the thing that you really want. So the battle is going to be the discernment between that and your ego, because your ego cannot live in the present, right? It can only live in the future and in the past, right? So if you're working on your chakras in the present, your ego is going to have to get in line. But if you're not wanting to work on this thing, then that's just going to be your ego found the way to convince you why not to. Because this is the work that is more important than anything that you can do in your life. And no, we don't got the golden ticket, but we're trying to explain this golden ticket. We're trying to shrink it down to size and put it into a real digestible palette just for you.
Yep.
Right? We're not trying to say that we're the hottest things on the block, but we're the only ones trying to teach you about you on the block. Right? We're the only ones trying to show you about you on the fucking block. Right? I ain't asking you to buy nothing. You know what I'm saying? I offer consultations, offer consultations. We ain't asking you to buy nothing. Hood Mystic does readings from here to Sunday. We ain't asking you to buy nothing, but he might be asking you to buy something. I'm asking you to buy something too, but so what? Right? Like, so what? Like, we give this information to the people because we want the people to have it. This shit is important. This shit feels good.
Yeah.
This shit feels right. It feels right, bro. You dig what I'm saying? I don't get on this live and have to worry about I'm gonna be judged as a charlatan a couple weeks from now. Somebody gonna pull up. You ain't gonna pull up nothing. I ain't already tell you. I was a trifling nigga. I went to jail. I'm not with my kids. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't got nothing to hide. You dig me? But this information is important. You know what I'm saying? Like, this information is crucial. Right? And the only thing we're trying to do is explain it so that you can make sense of it, because you need to make sense.
Yeah.
That's it. Niggas that do this work don't need to make sense. Human beings need to make sense. That's the end of that.
So I don't know if you can see this. Okay, yeah. So don't worry, don't read it. I'm gonna explain it. So it's you. Okay, you. Just you. That's the only word you gotta read. So I haven't been selling nothing, right? I'm gonna just explain the process of involution because I've been more or less in sharing information, but we do have things to sell in reference to a detailed, concise explanation of all of this work, like in an orderly, fashionable way. Like, you can buy it, you can purchase it, and if a nigga was selling you Pepsi and niggas was getting high blood pressure, y'all would have said, "Congratulations, Kyrie, you sold 1 million bottles of Pepsi." So I don't give a fuck about how a person feel about what I'm selling or who I'm selling to. So just brush that shit off. You know, it's all good. You know, it's perfectly fine for us to be merchants, but regardless, involution, it is you and your perception. That's all you have, right? You can will a lot of things in existence with your hands and your legs, but even that is amazing, right? You're not even guaranteed to even have your legs or your hands, because there's some people, believe it or not, that don't even have access to their legs and their hands. They're literally in a wheelchair. Like, y'all can bear reference to people who have wheelchairs, right? Y'all can bear witness to people who have depression or mental disorders in life, right? That's like, they can't control it, right? They can't just say snap out of it. So we all got this physical body and we all got this perception. The problem with 99% people in the world, they're looking at the external world, period, point blank, and they're trying to see where they fit in it. So, you know, and the external world is very vast. It's very powerful. It's a lot of different things. And congratulations for the external world. But when you reference involution, that is your secret garden, okay? Your personal garden. So if you Dark Serpent or you somebody else, you a millionaire, it doesn't matter. I don't give a fuck who you are. You have a secret garden that you can figure out and plant seeds in and manifest things in and work with that. If you pay attention to what the fuck the Hood Mystic is doing, you're not paying attention to your secret garden. If you pay attention to what Prime Harmonic is doing, you're not paying attention to your secret garden. So in reference to Chakra Nova, it is a personal process to get you acclimated with your body. Now, there is no test, there is no right or wrong, there is no good or bad, but all of these glands represent access to your central nervous system, and it It's for everybody and anybody. And so this is your secret garden. This is your chakra system. And it's not what chakra do I work with. You work with all of your chakras. As an astrologer, what I teach, if you don't know all of astrology, you don't know shit about astrology. Don't just tell me your sun sign and act like you know about astrology. You got all aspects in your chart. You might not have planets in your chart, but you are all aspects. You are all archetypes. You might resonate strongly. And so I bring this back to manifestation or evolution. When you deal with your soul and you deal with your root chakra and you deal with your earth and you deal with your manifestation, you then say, wow, I am growing exponentially when I only give a fuck about myself. Wow, that's amazing. You ever been racing and looking to the left and looking to the right? Boy, you get your ass dusted out here in these streets. If you want to win that race, boy, you better keep your eyes on the prize, okay? You got to keep your eyes straight. So Chakra Nova helps you keep your eyes straight. It helps you to focus on yourself. And the hardest thing that is going to worry about this shit is y'all going to get this book, y'all going to get this content, and you're going to be like, well, I got to get my chakras more popping than Hood's. His chakras ain't popping like my chakras is. But see, the reality is that we all have a personal soul, and my personal soul is fucking lit. Your personal soul is lit too. But the thing that's different with me is that I pay attention to my shit. I do my shit. You know, I don't know what's going on a lot of times with a lot of people. I care about my manifestations, my family, and y'all my family. But what I try to teach everybody is how I got here was working specifically with my ancestors, with my guides, with my energy. And that should get you way farther than fucking with anything else. But this is what we're trying to provide. And so, you know, Serpent, you know, if you feeling like you are different from a person who is different from you, and that, you know, your shit is more stinkier than anybody else's shit. Everybody's shit is stanky out here in these streets. So it's just more or less of what do you pay attention to? The perceived unstankiness of shit outside of you, which is so vast and so limitless.
It's a sea of it.
It's a sea of unstinking
It's
shit.
so much. It's pretty.
Yeah.
It's so pretty.
So deal with yourself and try to understand yourself at the deepest level, at the core levels. And this is just what I'm trying to teach and bring forward. And I know that's what Prime's trying to teach and bring forward, because it's this personal journey that we sharing. But ultimately, it's a vibration that people need to hear. So where you're at, a person might be like, damn, I'm just trying to get Dark Serpent's level. Like, you know what I'm saying? But if you don't look at yourself like I'm progressing, then you might feel like people not looking to you for guidance or whatever. So it's like, say for instance, if you help the nigga today, right? Just help the nigga on some basic shit. Listen real quick. If you help the nigga on some basic shit, right? You probably did more in the world than a nigga who rode through in a Lamborghini with 15 chains on and 5 women, because that nigga ain't helped nobody but his damn self. So the selfless act that we could do is just the deeper signification of our God force energy. It's so many people that have been helped by people who didn't ask for nothing in return, that if you really thought about it, that's how the fucking world works. That's how the world works. You know what I'm saying?
That's the only way the world works, because that's the only truth that exists. That right there, that's truth. You did something when you didn't have to do it. You just did it. It was the right thing to do. You just did it. You just did it. No questions, no debates, no. I'm sorry.
No, you good. You good. No questions, no debates, and what?
No, I was just saying, like, there's no question about you doing that deed, right? So, like, I look at exactly what he's describing as you put 100% of yourself into everything you do, regardless of if it's something that you need to do to benefit you, right? So if you're doing something for somebody in the house, or if you're running an errand, or if it's something as simple as just holding the door or helping somebody with their bags, right? You're doing it because you actually want to do it, but not because you want to do that thing because of the recognition you're going to get. You want to do that thing because you want to do it, and you can do it, and you actually want to show that you can do it. Period. Like there's no seeking for a benefit on the other side. There's no materialistic endeavor for you to set out on that you need to fucking garner. Like there's none of that. There's just you doing the right thing at the right time. No questions asked, no debate. Period.
All right. So let me ask this: if you haven't been taking care to recognize your own body and to learn how it operates and to learn to feel it and to take breaks every once in a while, if you haven't been doing the simple things that will help you recharge, then do you think it would be as easy to help somebody for nothing?
I don't think if you actually took the time to think about that in its totality, that you even have the right to even want to seek the answer for that question. So you're basically asking me that if I was lazy most of the time, because that's the definition of lazy,
or you just didn't know.
Yeah. I don't mean lazy in a negative connotation kind of way, like, but I mean like in a takeaway, a deficient type of way. So like, if you were lackadaisical, let's say that's a better word. If you were lackadaisical, right, and you weren't transferring your energy proper throughout your day, right? But somebody needed help up the stairs, right? Or you had to run to the corner store to get a couple of things for your grandmother, right? Or your baby mother want this thing that she just got a craving for, but it don't take nothing but a couple miles in a car and back. You right back at the crib, right?
You get where I'm going,
right? Yeah, I get exactly where you're going. You mean to tell me I need to justify your answer or your need for an answer for when you chose to be lazy, nigga? Listen.
Let me jump on that real quick. Because I know it's getting late and I don't want to keep people. So in reference to doing this work, you working with your garden and you manifesting things. So outside of personal needs, right? Because we all want to manifest things. We all need a bigger house. So so what is manifestation then outside of that? I would say it's a talent or an ability that will give you the skill to manifest whatever you want when you want to manifest it. Because say, for instance, you're a shoemaker. How many people is going to need shoes? Every day somebody going to come knock on your door. Hey, make me some of them cool shoes you made. So you always in a space of manifestation, giving, doing all of the good things. So it's not about morality, more it is about finding your fucking purpose, right? So we always talk about purpose. So how do you find purpose? Do you find purpose by looking at the hood mystic? Because if you do what I do, oh my goodness, then your ass gonna have to first go to prison. So who want to do that? Who's signing up to do that? I'm sure nobody. I know you look at the platform and be like, wow, I want to do it here. Okay, go to prison first. Wait a second, hood. I don't want to do that. Okay. So go within yourself. No, listen. Go within yourself. Figure out your personal talent. Figure out your personal ability and bring that to the surface. And it's not about figuring out what you will do when you will do it, because the reality is that I help every old lady that needed to walk up across the street? No, I didn't. So
neither did I.
Do y'all hate
that
me
was just
now?
a small reference.
I'm just saying now.
No, I know what you're saying.
Do you hate me now? You know what I'm saying? So generally, it's not a question of morality, because we will fall short moralistically.
It's not.
But
Yeah,
it's
and
not.
if you,
It's not. But I'm telling you, bro, that is why people will not dive deep into their spiritual journey, because they don't feel worthy enough to actually think that they can tap in and tune into their God, because it was an old lady that they could have helped and they didn't help them across the street. So now they feel
Need to
like
let
they're a
it
bad
go.
person. You
No,
understand?
let it
and
go.
that
Yeah.
and that
Living
what
in
you're
the
talking
past.
about, and that what you're talking about is Christianity. So that
Mhm.
tells you that
But
you
we
have to
live in a
pay.
Christian. But we live in a Christian
Yeah,
world. So
I know, but sometimes it helps the mind if you can make that distinction. So now you can help reprogram why you think that way. You understand? Like I think that might actually help. You know, because we have this thing because
Mhm.
people actually believe in sin, which was,
Mhm.
you know, bad reference. But anyway, that's another show. The idea that if you do something bad, you need to pay for it.
Mhm.
Y'all getting into the sacral chakra stuff, right?
Mhm.
That's
Exactly.
what blocks it, is that guilt.
That guilt and
Yeah,
shame.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Guilt and shame.
Guilt
Do
and
you
shame.
deserve it or not? The only people that taught about deserving your right to your own divinity or not were Christians.
But
I'm going to
listen,
say
bro,
that
it
again.
don't. But
I'm
it
going to
doesn't
say that
matter.
again.
But I'm just saying.
Like,
But listen to what I'm saying. It doesn't matter if you experiencing guilt and shame. It's like if somebody threw hot water on me. It don't matter who threw the hot water on me. I'm fucking scalded at this particular point.
yeah,
So when
I
you
still got the
reference guilt,
ramifications of it.
yeah. So when you reference guilt and shame and divinity, then you are ultimately dealing with the block. So I'm imagining guilt and shame, episode 2. I'm coming up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't want to open
Mm-hmm.
up that can of worms
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now,
yeah,
but
yeah.
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
sorry. I apologize.
no.
Nah, you good.
I just didn't want to. I
Yeah.
just don't want to hold nobody up, and I know people got shit to do out here in these streets. So I was just, I just want to, like, out of everything that we talked about, like, what have y'all fellas grabbed from it? What did y'all want to say that y'all didn't get a chance to say? Any left field topics? Any shout outs y'all want to give out? Shout out to the band family. But yeah, what did y'all take from this conversation we've been having thus far?
That you gotta. So I like that you asked about why we do the root lock, because I've done it so much in so much of my training that I forget that, to me it's like, oh yeah, I know we got to do that, right? But to somebody just starting out on this work, they might be like, okay, why you want me to squeeze my muscles
For
down there?
real,
Are
yeah,
you a
yeah,
freak?
yeah. You want some nasty shit? Y'all nasty. Y'all nasty on the Chakra Nova Network. What's going on?
You want me to what?
You better put an astro condom on.
What you said? What you
better
said?
put an astro condom. You better put an astro condom on.
Astro condoms don't work. I gotta put real condoms on.
Oh man. So to me it's important.
Oh, so good.
What?
So
Wait
to me
a second.
it's important because it ties in the feeling, right? It ties in the fact that this is not what you call it, thoughts in the clouds, mumbo jumbo. This is real alchemy, transforming your body, emotions, mind, and spirit at the same time. When you work with these chakras, you're working on your whole being. And in addition to doing the locks and keeping your energy, I think the other takeaway I like from today is when you fill your cup, when you take the time to take a rest, visit a tree in nature, do something for yourself so that you feel good, then your cup overflows and you might be able to help that lady across the street. Even if it ain't every lady today, maybe it's that one. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's my takeaway.
Being present.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna say that I really fucking enjoy the symbiotic flow that the three of us have. So like I think that shit is like, I don't know, I think it's something to fucking watch. Like I really do. Like I'm sitting here in it and I just like the way we bounce on and off, you know, from different concepts to ideals, and then being able to lay it out in ABCs. Like I think it's wonderful. Like aside from that, yes, absolutely. The book is what, May 30th, big homie? What's that date for the book?
May 23rd.
What's that date? May 23rd for the book. Yes, that does make absolute sense. May 23rd. We also have the complete series of the chakras going on right now as well, right? From this talk, yo, like I'll just say that I appreciate the time and the space that the people provide us to be able to have this talk, and I genuinely and sincerely like really appreciate the feedback. So no matter which angle it comes from, like I eat all that shit, so it don't even matter. Like all of it's food to me, so I appreciate that. Which is just to say we appreciate the people, and I appreciate you guys. And consultations are available. You know, DM me Sacred Serpent _0823. Cash App is in the joint. Hit Prom's Cash App up. Put Mrs. Cash App up. Like, this is not, you know, this is not a point of people trying to do anything other than just provide space for other people to link minds with like minds. So, like I said, I appreciate the folk, and you know, these talks are just going to get more profound and more complex and more simple, and even more simpler than that. So, like I said, I appreciate the space and I appreciate the folk. Real talk.
Word, man. I appreciate everybody that took place down the Prime, down the Ride, everybody that tuned in, tapped in, past, present, and future. Also give ashe to everyone's ancestors and everyone's higher guides. And I really truly believe in the non-physical. Not believe, I know the non-physical exists. And, you know, it's a scary threshold to imagine that everything that you see is the only thing that exists. And the reality is that can't be true, because when you begin to look inside, you begin to see a whole nother world that exists specifically for your survival. There are trillions of cells that specifically will follow whatever order you send them. And so my awareness, whether it be through meditation or having soul searching conversations with these brothers, allows me to specifically be in that alignment. So to be on these broadcast airwaves and share this authentic message of divine soul searching is the best thing that we can do. It's a lot of people out here that's, you know, giving you twerk lessons and things of that nature, stripper pole dances, and nobody says nothing. So the fact that we are referencing your actual living soul and how it can be awakened through simple exercises and holding space, creating space is just a brilliant and wonderful thing that, you know, I'm just so thankful for, you know, all the way around. So I just hold that vibration and continue that vibration. But I say all of this to say, tell a friend about this, because I know for a fact y'all ain't gonna buy shit, but maybe your friends will. So share the video.
maybe it's somebody you know who got an imbalanced root chakra. Just holler at her.
And you know, I like to joke, but for real, I do thank, you know, all of the support that we've gotten thus far, signing up for the courses. And of course, the book is coming May 23rd, still working on that, and a host of all other types of shit. So hopefully, you know, we'll be here every Thursday to hold space. And all my Band App members, if y'all want to join us next week, let us know so we can give y'all the link. And we want to hear y'all experience for the chakra journey. It's cool that we talking about it, but I would love to hear from y'all experiences, and we'll talk about
this is all about y'all. This is all about y'all. Like, I'm gonna keep giving y'all updates on my shit, but this is all about y'all. Like, for real.
Word. So we're gonna end this broadcast, and I'll tap in with you guys a little later. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah, it's about to go.